Hey, Dan. Can you hear me? Just as a reminder, you're muted, brother.
Oh, yes, I am here. Are we live?
No, yeah, we're live, but I'm gonna bring you in right now. So the funny thing is I was talking, but I was muted at first, and I was like, oh yeah, no, you're muted. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna do a quick introduction. We'll get moving.
Okay.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Hope you're all doing well. Just as a reminder, this channel is for educational purposes only. Or maybe under the letter of the law, entertainment purposes only. And so, yeah, welcome back to Forever Conscious Research Channel. Tonight we have a great conversation for you. We're going to be welcoming Dan from OverWatchChannel and OverWatchProject.com. You can find him on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey, as well as his website, like I mentioned, which is OverWatchProject.com. And we're going to be going over the absurdity of consent in a police video, channeling, video games, and some solutions, and probably some other things as well. So, without further ado, I want to welcome Dan back to the channel. Welcome, brother. It's great to have you.
Hey, Mark. Really great to be here. I'm not on Rumble, though. I have an account there, but I don't never posted anything there. I'm on BitChute, Odyssey, and, of course, YouTube. So this will be a very G-rated podcast today.
Sure. Yeah, and the video you sent is incredible. It's a really interesting one.
Yeah, I want to try, because of my background, I want to try to explain, because one of the things I hear on your channel a lot, and I get it too, is this whole thing about consent. Yep. And how could we possibly consent to something like this? And is there actually, free will? And you get this very confusing thing where people try to say we're forced, or we don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. And this video popped up one day, the one I sent you, and it's like, wow, there it is in very earthly terms. I'll try to explain it. The natural law that is in operation in that video also, because that video is very, very deep.
Very telling. Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of an example. I was happy you sent that to me. Thank you. It makes for a good conversation tonight. And so, we were also going to go over channeling and some video games you wanted to talk about, and overall some more solution talk too.
Yeah, the whole thing with that video that from Lackluster, which does a lot of police interaction videos.
Great channel.
I love his channel. And James Freeman too. He does some really good work. But I really like Lackluster because he breaks down the videos into the most important parts, does a little narration to explain what's going on, and throws in a little bit of the natural rights that are involved in some of these American in the USA here, these police interaction videos. So you want to start with that, or should we
Yeah,
start
I
with?
think that would be a great starting point. It packs a big punch, so I think everyone's gonna really enjoy this one. So, uh, hello everyone out there. Hope you're well. Good to see you. And
Yes. Hi, everybody.
and hello to everyone on Dan's channel as well. We're multi-streaming across a few different platforms tonight. And so yeah, let's get rolling here.
Yeah, the stream is healthy, by the way. I'm looking at the stream thing.
Okay, great. That's all that matters. So
Says
don't have to
excellent.
worry about it now. That's good.
Good.
Here we go. I got no intention of writing any ticket. I'm going to talk to you back here for a quick second. We'll get you out of here, all right? I'm asking you to get out of the car.
I mean, all those questions are really not necessary. You can follow me if you want.
I don't want to follow
You know,
you,
it's
Dad.
just like you're harassing me.
What do you do for work?
What do you mean what I do for work?
You have the right to say no. You have the right to say yes.
I said no. Period.
No what?
No.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. On January 12th of 2023, a viewer named Ricky was driving on the 494 when he noticed a police cruiser tailing him. Ricky was followed for nearly 5 miles until he merged onto the 169, and Officer Jack Lowry of the Bloomington Police Department finally pulled him over.
Hey, man, how's it going? Do you have a driver's license, proof of insurance?
Hey, can you pause
The reason
it
why I
there?
stopped you is I just saw you on the center lane there for a little bit.
Did you pause it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get too far into this, and especially for listeners that may not live in the United States, and or listeners that do live in the United States but don't haven't been fully briefed or haven't taken the time to learn about the Bill of Rights or natural rights or natural law. Just a quick little brief primer here for people, if you don't mind, Mark. You think that's a good idea?
Oh yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. I think some people may not know this, and other people may have heard it in the past. And if you don't keep up on this stuff, you kind of like forget about it. But in the USA, we have a Bill of Rights, and then we also have a Constitution. They're actually two separate things. They kind of are docked together, but the Bill of Rights is its own thing. It's an explicit, probably the first time in recorded history that an actual organized crime operation like government has acknowledged this. But basically what it says is that we have these human beings are born, we have sentient beings, and we are born with certain rights because of our level of sentientness. These rights come from nature. Some people can say they come from God, but wherever they come from, they're kind of imprinted into the natural order of things. They're not given to us by other humans. The Bill of Rights is an acknowledgement that there are rights that transcend human law.
Yep.
And they basically did a great job of listing them and explaining them briefly in this very brief document. The first one is, of course, probably really well known as the freedom of speech. It also includes other elements like assembly or gathering with other people, redressing your grievances, freedom of the press, freedom of religion. All that stuff is in the first. The second one, of course, is your natural right to self-defense and defense of others, and that is your right to bear arms, keep and bear arms. And then there's gathering. The third one is kind of like, not really known today because there's not a problem of soldiers quartering in your house. The fourth and fifth, sixth and eighth are probably the most important for the individual. Right to remain silent, right to not be searched without good reason, the right to not be unusually or cruelly punished. And these are very important rights. They don't come from humans. They actually apply to all humans all over the entire planet, not just in America, but the organized crime operations, aka governments, don't acknowledge them in many places, and they use force of violence to keep people from living with their rights. Is that about sum it up, Mark? You think I missed
that
anything?
was perfect. Yeah.
Okay, now I know this is weird because this is going to tie into the reincarnation soul trap in the Matrix. So for this is kind of odd that this ties into that, but it would make kind of sense that if these natural rights exist in the physical world, that they also exist in the non-physical or in the afterlife or the astral planes and beyond. They probably are universal rights.
What would you say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. What would you say to the person who would rightfully so say that we're just being trampled on and that these things are kind of just instead of a bill of rights, more like a bill of goods?
Yeah, the Bill of Rights really has been trampled on. It's currently trampled on in a tremendous way. There's so many violations that take place all over the place, and they've been taking place probably since the 1800s on a massive level. I would say from the mid 1800s, it got ramped up tremendously, and today, if the original people who wrote those documents were around, they probably wouldn't recognize America the way it is right now. And a lot of people are completely oblivious to what actual rights are. They confuse them with desires for services from other people, which in fact is slavery. That's actual slavery. And they get all this utopian talk about what gets promised to them under this some kind of undefined freedom that never materializes and always ends up in tyranny. Anyway, the thing is that in the physical body here, as we are incarnated as human beings, and if you're new to the channel here and you don't know what we're talking about, well, could you sum up the reincarnation soul trap, Mark, like I did with the Bill of Rights, maybe a little primer for what our channels are about?
Well, the one thing that I think this video we're about to watch really nails is it shows how easily look, he's saying no, I said no, quote unquote, but at the same time he's giving himself away over and over and over again through every step of the process, saying no but going back on what he's saying no, going back. And I think like the perfect way you can kind of compare the soul trap and something like what we're going to watch here and how it compares to our rights, so to say, is that there are a lot of things involved. Of course, like we talk about often, our attachments, those that we care about and love. Could even be material desires. You pick it. Any sort of attachments, belief systems. Giving this system authority over you because of a belief system that is continued to be learned, and using your intention, whether lucidly or not, that's obviously up for debate. But I think that where the lucidity goes out the door or out the window is once you kind of get to the light. And it's like, if you continue to buy into a system, an illusion that is continually, seemingly at least, wanting some form of consent, some form of agreement, and it seems like everything that happens here aligns very well over in the astral for a reason. And I think that, again, this video is going to show a great example of how we can get, for lack of better words, lost in the sauce. And it's up to us to dig ourselves out of it. Now, when I'm talking about consent and coming here, I think it's when we initially come here. So many people ride my ass about this consent thing, and they just don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when we first, for lack of a better word, stroll up to the gates of the Matrix, and they say, okay, well, you want to come and join this shit show? Well, this is what's involved. You've got to, lose a big chunk of your essence. You're going to be memory wiped, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and who knows exactly what the process is. We may go through a bunch of different realms before we even come here. We may come here in all different forms, and it may not be that bad initially. But my hunch is that we continually lose ourselves over and over and over again. And to the point where either we're going to keep getting lost and stay in that rut, or we're going to have an incarnation where something deep down inside knows something's wrong, right? So it's a matter of getting there. Now, does that mean that we didn't initially consent when we first came here? So mind you, 2, 3, 500, 1,000 lifetimes could have gone by in between the first time that we consented to initially come in here. But what's even more interesting is that the continued and pervasive need that, or at least advertising that the system gives off, that it wants consent, that it's continually asking for consent while we're here, is insane. It's everywhere. It's not just, in a few places here and there. If there's a few places, you could chalk it up and say, okay, yeah, it's just a coincidence or whatever. But no, it's freaking everywhere. And then you have things like what we're going to talk about today, what you were talking about, Dan, like that just kind of further put the icing on the cake that, these are things that are ingrained or purposeful rights, I guess. They're something everyone is accustomed to or supposed to have. Now, whether that's violated or not while here, that's a whole nother story, because you have free wills battling other free wills. I mean, and that's the other thing people aren't taking into consideration. We all have some semblance of free will. I mean, look, it's limited. I know we can debate about free will all day, but I mean, the whole thing with that is like, okay, we all agree to come into a system. We all have free will. We all come into a meat suit that's limited and purposely governed down to a point where it's very difficult to get out. But at the same time, we're battling other people's free will. I mean, there's just so many moving parts to all this. And it's just like some of this stuff just flies out the window. And it's like, it's just like people, some people out there just don't get it. And it's like they'd rather, instead of talk about it, they'd rather go on the attack mode. So,
right.
But that's on them. I'm past the point of caring. I don't know about you. I just don't care anymore. But, but I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it civilly. I'm not going to get into arguments about it, though, either.
No, right. So in case anybody is really cold, brand new to this and wondering what the hell we're talking about, just as a quick, brief intro for you. Me and Mark and others, a few others, and many of our subscribers here have done a tremendous amount of research and gone deep dive into basically cosmology of our existence. And if you are, maybe you follow a religion, or maybe you are a materialist atheist out there, I'm going to propose to you that, both those philosophies, generally just about every religion, every kind of cultish groupthink, New Age, that your systems, your cosmologies, which is basically your model of the universe and reality and the meaning of life that you guys out there may subscribe to, that I just want you to consider that you're all wrong about these things. Reincarnation is a thing. It does not appear to be for any particular learning purpose. The earth realm here, this particular reality that we incarnate into as human beings, is not for our benefit. It may have some benefit, very similar to if you go to a prison and they call it the School of Hard Knocks. But in fact, there's really nothing here that will benefit you. It is to benefit the makers of this particular incarnation farm. And, if you ever want to read like Robert Monroe's books, especially the middle one, Far Journeys, where he talks about witnessing the creation of basically Earth as a garden to produce something called Loosh, which is something that may be an energy produced by chaos, love and hate and anger and confusion. And pretty much human beings our consciousness is reduced to such a pathetic level when we incarnate as human beings that we forget who we are, and we live our lives here and then recycle back down here almost like an addiction. And while we're here in the physical form, while we have these same natural rights, which somehow made it into the Bill of Rights, a literal government document, which is still astonishing to me. Same. These natural rights in the human form are very precarious and trampled on by our own other fellow human beings that we incarnate here with, because our bodies and our consciousness is severely limited, and we are subject to pain, aging, death, weakness, illness. We can be hurt, killed here, and we don't have a clear memory of our afterlife existence. So we are born with a fear of death. Everything here is ruled by fear and the threat or actual use of violence. And that is why when we exercise our rights here, we're very more limited. As Mark pointed out, we all are using our free will. Some of us are using that free will to trample on the rights of others, while others are exercising them to use their rights. And some people just submit like sheeple, and they get trampled on willingly.
And many do.
Yeah, many do. And then when you die, if you carry this baggage over into the other side, into the afterlife, and if you are not aware, and if you don't have the proper mindset, the kind of aggressive, I'm in control, and you're not limited to the physical body anymore, then you can be free of here. It's really a solution podcast tonight. You can be free of here because you are not subject to these physical limitations out of the body, and you and all human beings, once they pass on and their consciousness is released from being in the human form, we can all choose to leave here. And really, all of these things that used to make us afraid here no longer have to make us afraid on that side. And that's the trick. Wow. That is the trick, to get us to come back here or to submit or to be in fear. And if you die as a religious person with a religion that has told you you're nothing but a sheep, you're a sinner, you're corrupted, you need salvation, or if you die as a materialist atheist and you suddenly find yourself still alive after your body's dead, you're going to be rather confused, and all those different types of programming and basically baggage that we carry over into the afterlife make it easy for you to be manipulated and controlled and scared, and then you will submit. And that's the difference between the interaction in this video here from Lackluster and what ends up revealing the interaction here between what you could call the Archon agent, which is the police officer in this video, and the individual who's being stopped, and their interaction with each other. And you see that the natural rights are at play here, and he's using coercion and intimidation to get this guy to submit. And the guy finally relents, but But did I sum it all up, Mark? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and it's incredible how much it aligns, like we were talking about earlier, how much it aligns with what happens in the afterlife when you die. And I think the point you brought up, and we've talked about it many times before, is the addiction to the sensory experience. You know, really, if you think about it, this system, it's freaking genius. It really is a genius, diabolical creation of epic proportions. I mean, it's look, whoever thought of it or whatever group thought of it are nothing short of just, they've really done their homework. All right. And, you know, you have the addiction to the sensory experience, the addiction to just material stuff, the addiction to the attachments, friends, family, pets, everything under the sun. You pick it. It's all ready and waiting there for you. And the only way is to throw it all out the window. All of it. At the time of death. That's it. That is the answer. Not talking about now. So many people twist my words again with that. I'm sure it's happened to you too. Like, oh, well, am I supposed to just disown my friends and my family, you know, divorce my wife and throw my kids out of the house? No. Have we ever said that, Dan? But for some reason, some people like to say that one too. I mean, it's incredible the amount of shit that comes out of people's mouths.
Yeah, that's because there's a lot of these religions, even materialist atheism, they all have their little proportion of truth that they give out, but sometimes it's confused with these really bizarre dogmas and doctrines that go along with it. Like a lot of the Eastern philosophies talk about unattachment, right?
Yeah, consistently.
Right. So there you get your little nugget of truth, but then they want to impose it in this world.
Yes.
With your family and relatives and loved ones. And it's not about I don't know how to make it any simpler. While you're here, we're only here for a very short time. Even if you try to live as long as possible, it's really a very short time in the scope of being an immortal being. And then, so try to live positively, try to learn as much as possible. The thing is, I'm still learning every day.
Exactly.
My mindset is still being fixed every day. When I finally get to the end of life, when my telomeres run out or some, old age disease takes me or whatever, I hope to be of such a mindset that I can then just walk on out of here and nobody can.
There's no hope, Dan. No hope.
Yeah.
It is.
Right?
It is.
In the meantime,
it will be.
Yeah. In the meantime, while I'm here, I'm going to try to enjoy myself, in a reasonable way, and I'm going to try to obviously care for the people I love, and I have my dogs and my family and my friends, and it's not about not being attached now here in the moment, but when the contract is over, even in the earthly typical religious wedding ceremony, they throw in that caveat until death, right? They throw it in there because everything in this world tells you the truth. It's right there in front of your face. It's hidden in between all the lies.
Yeah. Can you sift through the lies, throw them aside, and take what the truth is? Because it's always there. Constantly.
Yeah. Why would they throw in until death do us part? Why would they throw that in there?
Yeah.
Why not say, oh, you're married for eternity now. You'll be married in heaven. For example, Christianity, the modern day Christianity does not believe in reincarnation. Right?
Yep.
They think that after you die, then you go in. Well, if you actually read what's in the actual Bible, they think that they're going to go into this cubed city that's at the end of the book of Revelation.
Exactly, the cube.
The cube. Now, people don't know what that is if they're Christians and listening to this. They've never read the entire book. But okay, so if you are married and your spouse ends up going to heaven also, right? Assuming that one doesn't go to hell, and just playing along with the old Christian dogma for a minute. Why would they have a thing in there until death do you part? Why wouldn't it be like in the afterlife you can continue to be married unless one of you go to hell? That would make more sense in their religion, their beliefs. But I'm just saying, when it's over, you can depart. You're not tied down to anything anymore.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, and you have to be, also hard lined with it. And I hate to say it, but you have to. You are your number one concern. You are your number one thing to be taken care of, taken care of. You don't want to. I mean, it sounds cutthroat. But when the rubber meets the road and it's time to say goodbye to this whole place, you cannot be worried about your friends or family or the dogs. I mean, that's an attachment. And again, we can go back to the whole Eastern teachings you brought up earlier. I mean, there's these little truth bombs everywhere. Except, here on this channel, we're not going to say that, oh, well, you need to you need to rid yourself of attachments but at the same time, you may want to consider reincarnating so you can, help out the rest of the realm until every single person is liberated.
Oh, no,
this is the type of bullshit that's out there.
Yeah, I know that never worked.
It's like they give you the truth of the attachment and how diabolical it all is, and how much and all the truth in that big chunk, and then they just jam it right up you. And the end, by saying, that, "Oh, you got to come back and help."
Right. Instead of that, you can say, "I'm out of here," and when you guys want to get out, you come find me.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll be somewhere really nice. Yeah.
And what? Maybe, who knows? Maybe we can help in some way, right? I mean, maybe there is some way we can help our loved ones once we're out of here. But if we're all still in this bullshit together, we're not helping anyone out. We're just screwing each other over.
Right.
Unknowingly, but.
Now, in this video, so people can get an idea of what's going on here, especially people aren't in the United States. In America, we Fourth Amendment has the right for you to be secure in your person and effects. And so if you're not suspected of an actual crime, of actually committing a crime, then you cannot be searched. And your vehicle or your house can't be searched unless there's a warrant and there's probable cause. And in other words, people need a good reason. The organized crime ring, aka government, needs under the rules here, need a reason to go searching through all your stuff, and they can't just do it willy nilly. And this is clear cut and results in violation of rights, and then you can sue the government, and then taxpayers will pay the penalty for the government agent that screwed it up, essentially. But in this interaction in this video you're about to watch, there is a clear refusal for the search of this guy's vehicle, and actually it is absurd. He was you keep in mind, this is a person that was pulled over for driving 5 miles under. I know this is going to be ridiculous. People aren't going to. Yeah. And I think this is from bad training. I think this is from current bad training that these people get when they sign up to do this work. And I'm also tired of people referring to them as road pirates. When the state authorizes piracy, it is called being a privateer. They're privateers. They're not pirates. Pirates are independent and free. privateers are pirates for a state, just to make that point. Now, the guy is pulled over for driving 5 miles under the speed limit on a highway in the center lane. There is no cause for this stop, but I believe it's because there's training going on that tells people that rental cars are used to smuggle narcotics or illegal drugs, and that driving slightly under the speed limit is suspicion of smuggling. I think that's what's going on in this guy's head.
Definitely.
But that is completely illegal to stop somebody for that reason. Those reasons are not probable cause. So there's not even a cause for this stop in this video. And then we get into the whole search and seizure thing, which the guy clearly doesn't want his car searched. And he doesn't have anything in his vehicle.
Nope.
He doesn't have any warrants. His license is valid. He's got insurance from the rental company. The car is legally rented.
Lock him up. Lock him up.
But go ahead. Do you want to continue to play the video a little bit?
Sure. You want to finish your thought?
No, that's it. The times that, and keep in mind, this is in January in Minnesota.
Oh.
It is 19 below zero or something, or 19 degrees.
Cold as hell.
It is cold as hell. This guy's wearing basically a gym clothes. He's got a hoodie and sweatpants on, and that's it. Yeah. And the cop is intentionally keeping him in the cold, hoping to wear him down. And my point is, he's in the physical body, so he's being physically tortured, and until he relents. But in the afterlife, you won't have a physical body anymore. If you think you're being tortured, it's because you believe it, and then you are doing it to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, he was basically broken down into submission because of because the human body is cold.
and yet, if he wanted to continue to refuse, he could have done that.
Yeah.
Eventually, the cop would have left it alone.
Yep. Yeah, he would have had to. Yep. He tried his best and unfortunately gave himself up at every damn turn, despite.
Of course.
I mean, it's just insane. Okay, so let's show everybody what's happens in this, because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure we don't get driving.
You guys, I'm watching traffic. We have people with no headlights. Pass me. Stop me.
Is this a rental car?
Yeah.
Is this the rental agreement, or is this just do you have the rental agreement?
I don't have the revised one.
No?
But I rent them. I have a rental agreement.
Okay. Like I said, I was going to tell you a while ways back, but the radio has been bouncing all crazy. Like I couldn't get on the air until we got here. So this is a little bit safer spot. Just how we get hit by a car. You know what I'm saying? Your license all valid and everything like that? Okay.
What a kind man, Dan. He didn't want him to get hit by a car.
Yeah,
what a gentleman, isn't he?
There's so much bullshit going on in this video.
I know.
Oops, I used the word.
That one's just like, get the. It's just like, asshole.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
I just had to say that. Sorry.
Good to go, right? With valid license, everything. I'm just asking. I'm going to run you. Sorry, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Officer Lowry returns to his vehicle to run Ricky's license and learns that it is valid.
License status valid. NCIC person clear.
A few minutes pass and Officer Taylor Huss arrives as secondary. Lowry now exclaims that this traffic stop is interesting, citing that Ricky was traveling 5 below the speed limit in the center lane, and that his appearance was concerning.
Hey there.
Jack, what's going on?
It's an interesting one. Rent a car.
140 status.
4876. Can you send me a crime history? The name of the notes. Rental car, pretty distinct reaction to my presence, and then going like 55 in middle lane, and with this dude's picture. He wasn't really cooperative with me at all. Didn't want to tell me where he was coming, where he was going. And
he's like a badass tattooed Morpheus.
Well, the guy, I guess he's got some tattoos or something, but that nobody, of course, nobody can see anything until
they hat on, right?
The thing is, even without seeing anything, I can't fathom the actual legal reason to pull the car over in the first place.
Yeah, I know he's going 5 miles per hour under.
Yeah, you would
in winter conditions.
I've seen other videos like this where
Same
people
here,
get pulled over for going slightly under the speed limit. You people out there that have never heard of that before, it is a thing going on now. I've never heard of this before. Back in the day when I was a member of organized crime, aka working for the government, I would never have dreamed I never saw anything like that. Somebody being stopped for going slightly under the speed limit, or even slightly over. You had to go excessively over.
Yeah, like there's everyone know. I mean, I think everyone in the U.S. should know. There's like the 10 mile per hour buffer zone.
Generally speaking, yeah. I mean, some people will just have a power trip going on and 2 miles an hour over or 5 miles an hour over, but generally like 10 miles per hour over is like, an unwritten kind of like leeway. Yeah. And even in some states, they write the laws in a way that kind of implies a 5 mile per hour thing over. But 5 miles under, this is like totally under. Plus a legally registered vehicle. Remember, this vehicle doesn't have any motor vehicle violations. Doesn't have a headlight out. Doesn't have any taillights out.
Yeah, he wasn't pulled over for swerving around the road or driving erratically. Nothing. It's because he's driving under the speed limit.
And this cop followed this guy for 5 miles. Right? So 5 miles of no violations, and he pulls him over anyway. So right there, that's a major problem in America. That's a major problem.
Let's see. Could be just because he's been pulled over a lot. But it could be just because he's probably been pulled over a bunch. But
anything on like MRAP or anything?
Just PA courts, conviction of a felony of coercion. So in 2010, and nothing since then. So I don't know. That's like traffic stuff, but nothing else.
Hey Mark, stop it right here.
Just do a quick 25 check and.
Yep.
I just want you to. I want to point out to everybody, in case you missed it, Mark, the absolute irony here. This guy has a probably some kind of business dispute that ended up as some type of felony. He's got a conviction for coercion.
Yeah, it's like can we get a little more explanation on that one?
I've never heard of that before, but whatever that means, whatever that involves, it was probably something like to do with threatening somebody. I don't know, maybe something to do with a work-related thing, because that's just bizarre. Coercion. I've never heard of an actual law like. But anyway, the thing is that the rest of this video is coercion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point.
Right?
Damn, man, that's a great point.
Okay. All right, keep going.
There's some luggage in the back seat too.
Just what?
Like a couple bags in the trunk area. But just from PA courts and like everything like that, nothing too crazy that I can see.
The officers play with their cell phones for roughly 5 minutes, presumably reading the Minnesota state statutes. Then Officer Lowry decides he is going to attempt to search Ricky's vehicle. When he approaches, he tells Ricky that he has no intention of citing him. This is important later.
He didn't seem super cooperative, so I'm just gonna Pull him out and try to talk him out here. I'm gonna go this way. Ricky, right?
All right, before he goes here, can we just rewind just a little bit? Like, as he's walking towards it. Look at the roads. I don't know about, I mean, I know... Here. Well, maybe they're not so bad. I thought they were worse. But, but still, I mean, 5 miles per hour under, like, in slippery conditions is understandable. I mean, who knows what the conditions were. I mean, they do look pretty good considering, but...
You're also driving at night, and I'm when I used to live up in the north, in these cold states, especially in the wintertime, where I used to live, I don't know about Minnesota, but a lot of these northern states, there's ice patches, but there's also deer constantly running around, crossing the road in front of you.
Good point.
And that was the thing. Even in North Florida, and when you get into Georgia, there are deer that cross the highway.
Mm-hmm.
But it's clear now. He wants to search this vehicle. Yeah. There is absolutely. What do we have? We have a rental car with some luggage. Gee, that's really suspicious. If you're going in, right, a rental car with luggage.
GNC supplements.
Yeah, a guy that isn't speeding. You can see this is a total joke here, but anyway, a couple other things that unfortunately this driver, he did a pretty good job mostly, but he never asked the officer. Once the officer here tells him, "I'm not going to give you a ticket," that should have terminated the stop.
It's over. Yeah, it's over.
It's
right
over.
Then and there. There's no reason for detainment any further.
Right, but he needs to ask the officer repeatedly, if you're not giving me a ticket, am I free to leave? He never asks him if he's free to leave.
Yep.
And the other thing was the threat that's coming up here to bring a canine out. We're 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes into this stop now, but also there's a time limit from, I think, a Supreme Court decision on the amount of time you can extend a stop to call a dog out. Mm-hmm. And I don't quote me on this. I'm not saying it is legal advice, but I think it's like 20 minutes is the top.
All right. Level. And can I ask you this? But if there's no probable cause to that point, then can they even legally do that anyways?
See, well, everything that's been done so far here.
Theoretically, can he drive away once everything's kind of cleared? You get what I'm saying? And they say, "Oh, well, we're gonna call the dogs." You see what I'm saying? How would that work? Or what do you think on that? Based on
he needs to ask, "Am I free to leave?" Now, what you're doing is, that. Everybody knows the old American thing about being told your rights. Right? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. That works both ways. When you are asking police questions and they give you answers, what they say can be used against them later.
Yeah, but except they're legally allowed to lie and we're not.
Well, yeah, but they can't lie about whether or not you're detained.
Oh, very true. Very
true. When you're asking them, am I free to leave? And they say no, now, granted, because of qualified immunity, which is something else that needs to be dealt with, the officer himself won't be in any trouble, but the government may be forced to pay the person money or compensation for the rights violations being done. If they get if it's found out that his rights were violated, which to me it seems like they are being violated throughout this entire video.
Oh, completely. All right, let's move along.
Ricky, right? All right, here we go. I got no intention of writing any ticket. I'm going to talk to you back here for a quick second. We'll get you out of here, all right? Let's just talk to you back here. just about your coming and going. I want to make sure we're on the same page. I just want to clear up some things. That's it. I'm asking you to get out of the car. Well, the thing is, I don't really need a reason. No, I don't. I'm badge 363. Like I said, man, I'm just trying to clear up some things. What are you trying to clear up? You're coming and going. You don't want to talk to me. I'm trying to talk to you man to man. All right. So I just want to talk to you back here, back to your car. I'll get you all the information in a second, man. 363. Officer Lowry. I know, man. I'm not going to try to keep you up there any longer than I have to. Do me a favor. Can you just come around the front here? Thank you. That'd be great.
Ricky exits his vehicle and is told to stand in one of the most dangerous spots you can be on a highway, between two vehicles, not to mention without a coat at midnight in January in Minnesota.
Hey,
I thought the cop was worried about his safety. What happened to that?
Well, there's so many things. First of all, unfortunately, words are very important in these moments. Exact words are very, very important. I'm asking you to, and I'm ordering you to, are two different things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
Now, when somebody has the delusion of authority over other human beings, and they believe they have rights that other human beings don't have, aka government people, they may say something like, I'm asking you to, or I would like you to. You need to be very clear and clarify that, because later that comes back on them. Are you asking me or are you ordering me?
Yeah.
People need to ask those questions.
Wordage is so important.
And also, if I don't want to, am I being threatened with arrest if I don't obey?
Yeah. And the question, am I being detained?
Am I being detained? Can I leave?
Yeah.
I want to leave now. Am I free to leave?
Yep.
Those are very important questions, because you're technically, I mean, this entire stop is, I cannot believe what I'm watching here.
Crazy.
But, yeah,
I know it's cold out here. You might feel the need to put your hands in your pockets. I'll either ask you to put your hands out of your pockets, or I can either pat you down for your safety.
Pat me down, whatever you want.
Okay. So the reason why I'm trying to talk to you out here is because when I tried talking to you the first time, you seemed super. Like I tried asking you where you're coming and going. You said you're headed where? Back home?
I'm going home.
And is home in Egan?
No, I have a house over here, man. I mean, all those questions are really not necessary.
Well, again,
I mean, can I get your number?
That's kind of basic itinerary. So you said you're going home?
I'm going home. Period.
Where is your address at home? You said it's not Egan?
No, it's not Egan.
Where can you tell me?
I have an address over here.
Address over here.
Well, you can follow me if you want.
I don't want to follow you.
This is like you're harassing me.
I'm not trying to harass you.
Yes, you are. I mean, I haven't did anything.
I'm not trying to harass
You searched me. I haven't did nothing.
I didn't search you. I just patted you
Yes,
down.
you did. You patted me down. I need your information too.
Hold on.
You have a card
I'm
on
just
you?
asking these questions.
Go ahead, ask me the question.
So you said over here is
Yeah,
like,
over there. I have a house in
Real
Bloomington.
quick, Mark.
Bloomington.
Yeah, but I don't need to give you my address.
Okay,
My address.
Yep.
Okay, technically, what you saw there was a pat down, which is Terry versus Ohio is a Supreme Court case.
Big, really, really popular case within.
Right, and also very questionable as to the legitimacy of that
Yes.
case. But that's why he didn't. The cop isn't completely clueless here. He didn't reach into his pockets. See, if he had reached into his pockets, that would have been a search.
Yeah. He just patted him down.
Right. That's just a simple pat down for weapons, because he may put his hands in his pockets because it's freezing out. And so right now he's trying to do a search, but he starts off with a pat down. Just wanted to point that out.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, and then there's it's interesting too, because he's like, oh, you want to follow me home,
Well, the guy is very overly cooperative in this ridiculous situation.
Yeah.
He's right, though. He doesn't have to give him any information beyond what's required.
But he keeps doing it.
Yeah, he keeps doing it.
This is right here.
where were you coming from?
Coming from Lifetime Fitness.
Lifetime Fitness?
Yeah.
Which one?
In Egan.
In Egan?
Edina.
Edina.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do for work?
What do you mean what I do for work? I have my own business.
What do you do for your business?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you had this rental car for?
I keep this rental car the whole year.
And then last thing, what's up with the bags? Is it like workout bag?
Yeah, it's workout bags back there.
Yeah. How many bags are they?
I don't know, 3 or 4. It's workout bags.
Let me ask you this: is there anything illegal in the car?
No.
Is there any?
No, it's nothing illegal. So guns, none of that shit, man. It's cold out here.
I don't know. No marijuana.
No, I don't smoke marijuana.
No coke.
No, I don't do drugs. Dude, I do not do drugs. What's your name?
I'm Officer Larry.
Officer Larry. I'm not sure why you're harassing me.
I'm not trying to harass you.
Yes, you are. You have me in the fucking cold. Haven't did anything.
Can I try to explain to you my regional suspicion?
You can. Explain everything to you okay, but I'm just saying, what's the reason?
You haven't really been super cooperative with me, man. I understand people don't like.
I have your. You got my license, man. It's cold as fuck outside.
You know that.
It's cold outside.
The reason why I'm asking you these things is I want to confirm or dispel any possible suspicions that I may have. Okay. You haven't been super talkative with me.
I'll have my attorney contact you.
Okay. You haven't been super cooperative with me, all that stuff. Bro. And you don't really want to talk to me. It's fine. But I just want to scratch all those boxes, okay?
Scratch all
There's
the boxes.
nothing illegal in the car.
No.
Okay.
No.
Officer Lowry just claimed that his reasonable suspicion is that Ricky hasn't been cooperative with him. The irony is that this is the perfect example of what does not meet the legal standard of reasonable suspicion. The problem.
Exactly, right, Dan? I mean, this is just 101 class right here.
This is beyond. There are so many adjectives I could use, but they literally carry cards in the pocket to so that they say correctly. You have the right to remain silent. The only thing you're required to do is produce ID if you are quote unquote legally stopped under certain conditions. Mm-hmm. You have been suspected of committing a crime. Or although I question the legitimacy of the infraction thing because it's not technically a crime, but supposedly you have to give them your license if you're pulled over and you're driving a car and they claim you did a violation.
Yeah. I think the problem with the whole license thing and the whole sovereign citizens movement's kind of involved with that and the plates and all that is that it still, at the end of the day, depends what type of cop you're going to be interacting with.
Yeah, no,
that's
it's not even
really what it boils down to, right? Or no?
Yeah, it's not even that. It's people have lost touch with what it means to, what when they say you need a license for something. It's not about. First of all, that whole term is flawed. You can't be both of those things together.
Oh, right? Yes, very true. Yeah, but that's a whole conversation in and of itself.
Right, and even because you mentioned those words, there might be the little thing that shows up on the bottom of the YouTube video.
Yeah. Probably right. Sovereign citizen movement. You're right.
From Wikipedia. They'll have to put it down there to explain it.
Yeah.
And
good point.
Look. The thing is this, it's not, people still have this thing, even those people have this thing where they separate government from any other just organization that has a claim on violence as its tool. There's no difference between, the only difference is these rituals that government does and these bureaucratic rules. Because they will throw one of their own under the bus if they break the rules, and they're not politically connected. So if you have some, if you the difference is this: if it's like a 1980s style Italian mafia in New York, and one of their people commit an infraction or embarrass them or do something they don't approve of, generally, that person will end up in a drum somewhere and be eliminated.
Now the New Jersey Turnpike of all places.
Yeah, probably, yes. And then if you are in a government mafia and you screw up enough, they will not put you in a drum unless you commit some kind of heinous crime. They may give you, some kind of criminal conviction. But if it's just like rights violations or other violations that or corruption or anything like that, they will, pay out
And
money,
promote you.
or move you to the basement, to records keeping or something. Put you away somewhere where nobody can see
I'm
you.
pretty sure, I don't know if it's this case, Stan, but I'm almost positive this guy. No, it was another one. There was either 5 or 10 million big settlement, and both cops involved ended up getting promotions.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a recent one. I think it's actually from the same channel.
Yeah, Lackluster. He has a lot of very interesting videos on his channel.
Anyways, anything else you want to add?
Not at the moment, but as you play more of this, I'm gonna go get drink a glass of water and bring it back in the room. I'm gonna mute my mic.
You know what we can do? We'll take a 5-minute break because we're a little over an hour, so we'll just take a short 5-minute break. That way we don't miss anything because there's still a little bit more to come and more to go over on other topics. So we'll be right back, my friends. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in about 5 minutes. Thanks so much.
All right, Mark. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Yep.
welcome back, my friends. Thank you for your patience. And before we continue, I just want to send out a reminder that the monthly members live stream for this month will be Sunday, April 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that will be available both on Odyssey and YouTube. And don't forget to check out the description tab for links to Dan's channels. He's available on YouTube, Odyssey, and he also has a website, OverWatchProject.com, and Twitter and a few other sites as well. So feel free to check that out and get some added information. And there will also be a members Discord group voice chat coming possibly this weekend or next weekend. I'm not sure yet, but it'll be announced in the members community tab on Odyssey and Rumble, and Odyssey and YouTube, as well as the members Discord server. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, Dan, we are back. How you doing over there?
I'm back. All set.
And just as a reminder, this channel is for educational or for legal purposes, entertainment purposes only, and whatever floats your boat. And we're going to get back into this video and try and finish it off. It really starts to heat up.
Problem is, not answering questions isn't unlawful. In fact, it's a protected civil right. And now finally, after extending the traffic stop by at least 10 minutes, with his ridiculous investigation, the officer asks for consent to search the vehicle.
You have the right to say no, you have the right to say yes.
I said no. Period.
No what?
No, nothing. Dude, I want to. It's cold out here, and you have me out here for no reason. You don't have proper call. No, you don't.
You keep cutting me off, man. Okay, let's get this one here. My intention right now is I want to search your car to confirm or dispel any suspicion.
What are you searching my car? I'm telling you, no, you can't search my car.
Okay, that's fine. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to call my K9, see if there's going to alert me.
That's fine if that's what you want to do, but you're doing it for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing in the car.
Ricky has now refused consent 4 times, but the officer threatens to call a canine to the scene to run a free air sniff. The problem is that the original purpose for the stop ended when the officer told Ricky that he wasn't going to cite him.
Hey Ricky, I got no intention of writing any ticket.
And now the officer lacks any further reason to keep Ricky detained. A nearly identical situation was heard by the Supreme Court in 2015, which ruled this type of detention unconstitutional and a violation of the Fourth Amendment's prohibition against unreasonable searches and seizures. In this case, it is also possible that the officer asked Ricky to exit his vehicle to expose him to the frigid temperatures, in hopes that the weather would coerce Ricky into consenting to having his vehicle searched. In fact, if that was his plan, it worked. Now fed up with being detained for nearly 20 minutes because he drove within the speed limit in the center lane of a 2-lane road. And hey, look at his picture. Standing in 19-degree weather in a hoodie, Ricky finally caves and reluctantly tells the officer to just get it over with.
Okay.
Nothing.
You have the right now. You can hang out right here on the bumper of my car.
Yep.
Okay, now, all those NDEs and pre-birth memories and all the other stuff that you've analyzed in incredible detail, all the stuff you've gone over with Wayne Bush, is this not all the pulling every trick out of the bag here, right?
Yeah, it's laying out everything.
This is exactly what people claim, that, oh, there's no evidence for free will or that you need consent. This is all about consent. This guy is very good. This guy is pretty good about standing up for his rights, but he doesn't exactly know the nuanced, things.
He doesn't know he can walk away.
He does not. He doesn't understand how he can exert his
Power.
More precisely, and therefore he's just. He doesn't ever ask this cop once if he's free to leave.
Yep.
I can't believe that because he seems to know his rights.
Yeah, it's so weird. You made a great point there. It's like he knows the right questions to ask, but at the same time, it's like he's failing where it really counts.
Occasionally, I mean, it's not really his fault. I mean, who prepares for it? But that's the difference. nobody prepares for this in general.
True,
just like
true.
nobody prepares for what is going to happen after you die here.
Hmm.
People think they prepare. They prepare with their religious beliefs, or they prepare themselves to expect nothing if they're materialists, and then they're not prepared for an interaction like similar to this one, where you confronted with some. This is the car stop is the distraction people get in the afterlife when they get stopped.
Yes. Yep.
They
They're
get
pulled over at the tunnel. On the
right.
light.
They're pulled over at the. There's the light. You talk about that. There's a light. Light pulls you over. The lights pull you over in a car stop. The lights pull you over in the afterlife. You're greeted with different people, meet different entities. They can shapeshift and form into whatever they think will work for you, whatever they think you'll respond to as an authority figure.
Exactly.
And then the manipulation begins. The coercion begins, but at the same time, you can say no, and then you can exert your. If this guy only said a few extra things, he could have probably drove away at some point here.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Which he does end up driving away after his vehicle's ransacked, but
which is ridiculous that the amount of times that they can leave something in the car and say, "Oh, what's this? Where did this come from?"
Luckily that wasn't
the camera.
involved.
Thank God, right? The camera doesn't conveniently shut off, and then all of a sudden something's found. That happens.
Yep.
Are you laid in the back of my car with the windows down, with the door open, whatever you want?
Dude,
whatever you feel more
just
comfortable
search
with.
the car if that's gonna make you happy. I don't care. Can we just get on with this?
Yes, we can. And I don't want you to feel like I'm.
You're very harassing me. Search the car. I have nothing in the car.
Hold on. If you're gonna give me consent to search your car now, I want to make sure I'm not trying to coerce you into it. I want you to know
I'm saying it's cold out here. I don't want to be in the car. I can get in the car.
Okay.
You have no reason to detain me.
Okay, so let me get so we're on the same page. You're saying that I have the right to search your car.
Yeah, but you have no reason to detain me because I haven't did anything.
Okay.
You have me in the cold. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Ricky, you keep cutting me off. It's going to just keep taking this longer. You have the right to take away your consent anytime. If you don't want me to do it, you don't have to.
I just said yes.
You have the right to take away your consent anytime, Dan.
This is when I watched this, I was
Sick.
like, "This is the first thing I thought of is this is the perfect thing people could relate to in the human life here, that perfectly mimics this afterlife interaction."
Yep.
They wear you down. They distract you. There's a lot of distraction going on in this video. There's a lot of repetition, distraction, lying. There's lots of lying going on here. Isn't this all the things you describe in all those in a lot of these NDEs? Lying,
it's the
distraction.
same playbook.
The same exact playbook, right? This cop is operating within even though he's violating it, but at the same time, there's no violence here per se. It's the threat of violence, but there's no violence. There is he does have an understanding of natural rights. This cop does. He just wants to twist it in such a way that he's going to get what he wants. And the system in the afterlife, of course, you have more advantage there. You don't have the body that's going to freeze.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be hurt unless you allow yourself to believe that you can be hurt
or manipulated.
Or and the other thing is, you don't need a car to travel. Travel in the afterlife is instantaneous based on your intentions and attention. That's why they have to distract you and get your attention focused on them so you don't leave.
Yeah. Yeah, really well said, man.
Okay.
That's what you want to do.
Hang out here with my partner. I don't want to keep carrying longer than I have to. We'll get you going, okay?
Will you not tear the whole car up?
Yes, sir.
Against his
Oh, they
word,
will.
the officer tossed the car. After finding nothing but nutritional supplements and chewing gum, Officer
Lock 'em
Lowry
up.
returns.
All right, we're just about done here, man. Last question. The like the bag of pills, or whatever it is. Like I was in the I think it was
Vitamins?
the bag.
Yeah,
What kind of?
vitamins.
Do you know what kind of? What, like,
No, I
brand
don't.
name
You
they
can
are?
take them if you want. I
I don't
care.
want to take them. I just want to know. You know, like the brand name.
I don't
for
know.
it?
Now, I mean, Dan, I gotta ask this. When I heard him say, "Oh, you can take him if you want," I mean, that seems like just playing with fire. I mean, if you get a corrupt cop or a corrupt group of cops, they can take those and say, "Oh, well, you know, they weren't GNC supplements; they were whatever," you know, and end up getting framed for something that you didn't even have.
Right.
I mean, that was like wow to me.
Right. If anybody, if I were to, I mean, I can't speak for other people. I mean, you do what you want out there in the world when you run into these so-called authority figures. But for me, it's all about very precise communication. If I say I don't consent, then I don't consent, period.
Mm-hmm.
If they repeat the request, at that point, I'm going to, say, look, now I told you I don't consent. Now you're just violating my rights. You have to just politely but firmly stand up for your rights. I mean, that's the way I see it. You don't surrender anything. This guy shouldn't have even been allowed in his car. There's no probable cause to go into that car. There is zero. There's nothing in plain view that's criminal. The vehicle is not illegal. The driver is not unlicensed. He wasn't doing, even if he was speeding, that does not give you the right to search the car.
Yeah, they're two totally different things. An infraction or a ticket, whatever the hell you want to call it, versus like almost like a full-on investigation, I guess.
This is this is just a thing because I believe that they are now training them to do this. This is about a bigger thing that we can't talk about on the channel.
Yes, yeah, let's be careful of that one.
But this is about something much bigger than that's going on in the world. So. All right. Yeah.
You know the name of them?
No.
What kind of vitamins are they?
Just vitamins.
Just random vitamins?
Yeah, it's vitamins.
Like, can you help me understand what kind of
They're
vitamins?
just vitamin C, as far as I know.
Vitamin C capsules?
Yeah. Like I told you, it's nothing illegal.
Well, like I said, man, I'd show them. Just vitamin C capsules.
That's all they are.
You know where you got them from?
GNC. I don't remember the date.
Well, I don't even know the dish. No idea what kind of brand name they would be, or
No, I do not.
so I'm looking. I'm trying to figure out what they would be. You know?
You can take them if you want, man. You get them out online. There's nothing wrong with them.
Well, I don't want to take anything from you. It's not anything. You know? 1 second.
I don't want to take anything from you.
Staring at the pills for another minute didn't help, so Ricky was finally set free.
I love his commentaries.
All right, I'm
Cold
not gonna worry about
and
it. I could be a fool. It could be something,
Oh.
or they could be good vitamins. So.
Anything you want to add?
No, I think Lackluster does a great job.
Yeah, for sure.
These little it's like humorous sarcasm because
Yeah.
a lot of his videos shows absolute clown world. Absolute clown world. You can only make fun of this shit because, you know, what else can you do?
Man,
I mean,
that's true, man.
I don't want to violate all your rights, but I'm going to violate all your rights.
Do that. I want to take your GNC supplements back to the station and taint them with something illegal. No,
I don't want to coerce you, but if I make you stand out here in the cold long enough, it's just ridiculous.
That's sick.
You got a card on you?
I do.
Thank you.
Do you want me to try to explain it to you anymore right now?
I'm my attorney. Contact you guys.
Okay.
All I need is your card.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
No.
All right. Have a good rest of the night. You're free to go.
You too.
No taking nothing like that. All right.
Ricky returned to his vehicle to find his belongings mostly thrown around on the floor. He then requested the records for the stop, which showed different reported speeds,
55 and middle lane.
alleged multiple crim indicators, consent search on VHIS, and claims that Ricky was warned. Though other than mentioning Ricky was driving within the speed limit in the center lane at the very beginning of the stop,
The reason why I stopped you is I just saw you on the center lane there for a little bit. Want to make sure you don't get me driving.
it was never brought up again. Since the incident, Ricky filed a complaint with the department and contacted the city attorney. And despite the lack of evidence of a traffic infraction and clearly established case law, they find nothing wrong with the stop.
I just saw you on the center lane there for a little bit.
The profiling,
With this dude's picture.
the search,
I'm telling you, no, you can't steal my car.
or extension of the stop.
What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to call my K9.
He has also contacted the Minnesota Human Rights Organization and is currently looking for a civil rights attorney. If you'd like to help Ricky, I've linked the full video and his YouTube channel below, as well as a link to his business, 57 Consulting, where he focuses on coaching individuals before and after their incarceration, aiming to help them be successful in parole after their term.
Oh my God, lock him up. Lock him up. What a menace to society, Dan. Jeez. Trying to actually do good in the world? Get him behind bars immediately.
Oh, yes. I think the whole thing is very ironic. So he's
It's
trying to help
insane.
people that basically, if you think of Earth, the Earth realm is like a prison planet, matrix, reincarnation, soul trap, then it would stand to reason that when you do get out of here, there might be a detox center that you may have to go to, right?
Yeah, well, they talk about openly how there's these, you can kind of go to your own utopia realm and be left alone if you want to, or join your soul group, whatever the case may be. I mean, that's something that pops up constantly. So, yeah, I mean,
Right.
they'll rub your shoulders and give you a nice massage and give you say everything that's right, but meanwhile they're stabbing you in the back every step of the way.
Well, just keeping you in the system, which
Yeah.
is exactly
That's all they care
so
about.
everything here kind of mirrors what goes on there.
Yeah. Well said.
Is that the end of the video?
We
Let's
got
see.
about maybe a couple more minutes.
I think he goes into like his credits and his stuff then.
Okay.
But basically, I believe that if he gets a really good attorney, he will probably get a payout.
Yeah, a nice settlement to make it go
Yeah,
away.
yeah. The taxpayers will pay for it.
Of
see.
course, that's who pays every time. That's why
Which
they don't care.
which I need to clarify that. What I mean by taxpayers is extortion victims. The extortion victims will pay for what the mob did to this guy.
Well said. Yes, thank you for the clarification.
I mean, it's not. Again, there's parallels in the organized crime community. Maybe Tony got whacked, but he shouldn't have got whacked. So the crime boss takes some money out of the coffers and gives it to his widow.
Gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Hey yo.
Exactly.
You want a fresh one?
Exactly.
All right. So I don't know. I'll play like a few minutes, like a few seconds, and see where this goes. But I think you're right. It kind of ends here.
If you head over to his platforms,
All right. Yeah. Okay. That's all we need to see. So yeah. Shout out to I'm sorry. What was the channel's name again?
Lackluster.
Lackluster. I always forget.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. He's got some great
him out.
content. If you want to see a content so you can get the proper mindset about your rights, that is definitely the channel that you want to watch. That one, and I tell you, there's been a lot of excitement on the James Freeman channel. He has been battling the insanity over there in New Mexico, and he's got quite a good victory that happened over there. Again, on a subject that we cannot mention.
Is that okay? Yes, yeah. Is that the same guy? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I may be thinking of another guy. Is that the same guy who went to City Hall to pay a ticket and brought all pennies?
He may have done that at one time.
That is the funniest shit ever.
The video I saw yesterday he had on there was he went to they apparently had this thing where a court clerk quit after, I guess, maybe interacting with Freeman and possibly making a fool of herself on the YouTube channel over there. And then she quit, and then there was an opening for court clerk, and he literally went into the court clerk's office to apply for the job. But he says, "Is this where I apply to work in organized crime?"
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh man, I'm almost positive it was him with the pennies. He shows up with the suitcase, has pennies in the suitcase, and they won't even deal with it. And they say, and
that was in California.
Oh, okay.
That was a California video.
I have that video right now. It's so freaking hilarious. Oh my god, genius too, man. Genius.
Yeah, I mean, there's been other videos like that, and I know there was one from. I think this guy, Chuck Bronson, he does some videos. I forget. I think his channel's name is Chuck Bronson, and he did something like that where he paid for it in coins.
I love it.
It is legal tender,
Yeah, exactly.
Legal tender, right?
Yeah. And then, like, I love how they, like, whoever it was, they brought the law with them, like the exact law, like, oh, like you can pay in cash, check, coin, or quote unquote legal tender. The law has basically came under every single possibility that is out there, and they're like, oh, we're not going to take it, and they like shut down the pay station at City Hall, and it's just such a clown show, total clown show.
Yeah, they conveniently. That's the other thing. I've seen now is where they try not to follow their own blatant rules that they have written down. It's a
freaking courthouse.
I know, it's really something else. But there are differences between the interactions we have down here in the earth physical and of course in the afterlife. The thing is that you need to, in my opinion, mindset and mental training so that when you get out of the human body, you're not still acting like you are in the human body.
Yes, exactly.
And the human body is a reducing system for your consciousness to like I said before, a pathetically low level.
So, yeah, it's sad as hell.
It makes it very confused. It makes it programmable. You're deprived of all kinds of things like telepathy, your memories, your point of origin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly where I came from, but Monroe talks about
even if it exists too, right?
Even if it exists,
I mean, that's the weird thing that you can talk about with that whole thing.
Yeah, Monroe talked about like achieving escape velocity, leaving here and to return to or go somewhere else or return to your home, wherever that is. I could imagine he describes so many different realms with so many different attributes, like one that was all about games, which we're about to talk about games, and then he described. I imagined that wherever I came from, because of my reactions to being here ever since, even as a little kid, was that none of this place made any sense to me, and that wherever I came from was a sane and logical place, a very clean and precise realm where everything made sense, and there was nothing that didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because even as a child, I was like, none of this makes any sense.
Yeah, like I mean, the only concern I have, even with Monroe or even what you said, or any of us are kind of thinking in terms of where we came from. I mean, I've evolved on this issue big time, like where it's like, if we're everlasting, so to say, like, and let's just say, for sake of a argument, that time doesn't exist, then did we ever not exist? I mean, I know based on a lot of like the past life regressions and NDEs and things, all these experiencer type things, it is very clear that the system being presented is still within the matrix. So it's like, are you kind of being hoodwinked into thinking that you came from a more logical place? Maybe that's where they felt you would be most manipulatable to, or whatever I'm trying to say there. And I think that's something we all should consider. It's like something that may feel like home may not necessarily be home, because we've been lost so long that perhaps there is no origin point.
It's possible, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough for me to even wrap my head around, because deep within, it's like, really, it does seem like there should be some sort of creation point. There should be some sort of creator or source or quote unquote God behind my being in the world and your being in the world. But I mean, we can't discount how those types of things have been perpetrated on us since we got here. So
yeah,
it makes it even more suspicious.
Yeah, because our consciousness is reduced to such a level we can't even comprehend what nonlinear time is like.
Yeah.
We hear people say it all the time that time works differently in the afterlife. It doesn't flow like it does here.
Yeah, and I think I'll even throw one more thing out there, Dan, to consider is, what if, Lindley, a subscriber of the channel, a good friend of the channel, he said, what, and it really got me thinking, what if, all these experiencers that say, oh, well, the time doesn't exist and this and that, well, what if time does exist outside of here within the matrix construct, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't, that it's non-existent outside of here, but what if, every realm under the umbrella of all the matrix realms here fall under some semblance of time, regardless of what state you're in, whether you're in a human body or an astral body, it doesn't matter. What if it still kind of falls under that whole umbrella of time? Then there would still be some manipulation to be attained out of all that. So it's really, really started to make me think. And I don't necessarily believe or disbelieve that time doesn't exist outside of here, at least within the confines of the Matrix overall system. But maybe it doesn't exist outside the border, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it works different. It just works different. I mean, there's time, but it doesn't work. It may not work the same way. I don't know. It's
That's a
It's
mindfuck,
beyond
man.
our ability to imagine because we don't have any point of reference.
That's the problem.
And,
That's
and
why
we
I
don't
kind
have
of like everything's on the table. It's like if we've been so manipulated by all these other experiencers, then and that everything's love and light and we're all one and blah blah blah, and regardless of what's true and what's not, we know there's at least some level of manipulation going on over there. Then, well, what if the time thing is a manipulation tactic? Or the no time is a manipulation tactic. Sorry.
Yeah, that could be. It could be, or it just could be that it's more
Slow down.
Well, no, I was thinking maybe time works more on whatever. How you know how here you can fool yourself based on what's going on. Time can seem to fly by, or it can seem to drag on. If you're not interested in something. Well, that's here in the physical, and yet somehow time seems to alter for us based on our perception or our intention or attention to things. And then, it's probably not actually altering time itself, but the perception of it is altered because let's say you go see a really, really, let's say you I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's amazing. Let's say you go see the new John Wick movie, and you're in the theater for 3 hours. Well, that's going to be a different time than if you're at work at a miserable job for 3 hours.
Very true. Very true.
So maybe in the out of body astral or spirit realms, time literally works that way, where it speeds up or slows down depending on your whatever is going on around you. So
yeah, well said. Yeah. No, it's a great way to look at it. So yeah, I mean that was a great video and really appreciate you sharing that. And I'd like to kind of talk about your opinions on channeling.
Sure.
So
okay.
Why don't you tell me what your thoughts are on that?
Yeah, sure. So when I hear channeled information, it seems to be that, I always hear it's the same thing as like when you're listening to some belief system or something. It's like, oh, well, that part sounds true, or, that resonates with me. Like a lot of these things will mention things like a soul trap or a matrix or something, being amiss here. But then it's
past lives or, the council or something's looking out for you and it cares about you, whatever, whatever.
Yeah,
so
or
many things.
The Galactic Federation,
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
But even in the Galactic Federation stuff, they talk about Earth as being some form of a penal colony or a reincarnation thing, and then they want you to, but see,
links into the ascension thing too.
The ascension thing, of course, that all corresponds to the same thing as salvation, and you depend on these Galactic Federation to save you. It's just replacing the religious figures, their salvation. It's all. To me, it's like they have to give you some truth, and then they confuse it with disinformation, and it gets all mixed together. And then if it sounds good to you and you're looking for something to believe in, you might adjust your cosmology to think that's the model of reality you want to subscribe to.
Yep. Yeah. No. Really, really well said. Black Uni says, I don't like the ascension stuff, and I gotta agree. And it seems to me like the whole ascension thing is set up like it's like a modern offshoot of Hinduism, Buddhism, Gnosticism in its own way.
Hey, Mark, I need a couple minutes.
Sure.
Can you?
Yeah, so we'll take a 5-minute break. We're
Okay,
almost
thanks.
at 2 hours anyway, so.
Okay,
All
we're
right.
gonna mute now.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. See you shortly. 5 minutes, my friends. We'll be right back. Thank you. Okay. Danny, still with us? Are you away at the moment?
Yeah, I just got back.
Okay. You all right, or you need some more time? I can continue. Up to you.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
All good.
right.
Now back to channeling.
Yeah, we'll just a reminder to everyone watching, this channel is for educational or for legal purposes, entertainment purposes only. So, sorry about that, but go ahead. Let's continue talking about channeling.
Well, just recently, the only thing that I've listened to some of these people were the so-called Galactic Federation types. I find the whole thing fascinating because the whole UFO thing's being pushed really hard right now. Huge, right? There's a new documentary. Actually did watch most of it. Is from that Dr. Stephen Greer guy, UFO Endgame. I find, again, they give you, it's like that show Ancient Aliens. You say like 40% of what they're telling you, or sometimes 50%, is some legitimate information. The other 50% is skewed or off.
No, and there was, Greer. I've talked about him in the past, maybe to you. Like he. It's so weird. He helped me learn about intention, but indirectly. That was the weird part. He talked about, he called them the CE5 protocols, and where you could kind of interact with the sky and orbs and anomalous activity, and really make some incredible connections with things in the sky or on the ground. And so it took me some time to realize it, but I realized the CE5 protocols was BS, but what I did learn is the power of intention. And he was a big part of that. So, he granted, yes, a lot of everyone here, including me, will crap on him, but at the same time, he had a very, very big hand in my journey. Kind of embarrassed to admit it, but hey, it did the job at the time, and made me realize over the course of a few years just how powerful we all are. So
yeah,
but yes. I mean, really, everything related to the CE5 protocols is complete BS. Everything is intention. Everything is intention. So you don't need Greer or me or anyone else to say anything. All you need to know is that your intention is powerful, and if you want to interact with or work on summoning with anomalies and orbs and, or lack of a better term, UFOs and on the ground or in the sky, every single person can do it. It's just a matter of being patient and realizing that everything comes down to intention. That's kind of where I'll leave that one.
Yeah, no, I actually believe, yes, true. It's as simple as the placebo and the nocebo effect. Mm-hmm. That is literally just intention. And sometimes it runs amok because, like, you can, I know that I have several nocebo effects. I have made myself feel terrible through my own intention. And a lot of it has to do with, again, you have mental things from the past that, come up. And there's certain things like, like stomach issues, other things that I have that I think I'm producing myself, just, the placebo effect, you know, when you make yourself feel better, of course, that's all. It's all intention. I think actually, it's another part of the diabolical design here is there's that one Star Trek original series episode where the aliens trapped them in a replica of the OK Corral. I don't know if you remember that one.
It's a good one. Yes.
Okay, that whole episode is about intention and belief and how it affects reality. And the thing is that the thing is that the stuff that's like you did that whole great episode talking about from all the sabotage that our consciousness goes through in the human body, the whole hypnagogic state from 0 to when you're born to about 7 years old, all the stuff that the intentional division in the consciousness while it's in the human body, where a big bulk of it is basically kind of sleepwalking, and they call that the subconscious. And this part of you is the source of not only most of the sabotage, but I think what keeps us from exerting intention. I think everything here, if you could truly believe, not believe, but actually know that you can alter everything around you, the matter, everything, you could change anything you wanted into anything else.
Agreed.
The material world here is locked down in a way where
the intention has to be powerful. It has to be unrelenting, but it can happen.
Yeah, we're
possibly
so powerful that even though they've done an excellent job of suppressing that part, it still manifests itself.
Yep.
That's why magic works. That's why prayer works. All of this is just a people or group's intention or an individual's intention, and it just influences reality.
Yeah, that's why the power of Jesus works. You know, we can all sit here and laugh up a storm and how ridiculous it sounds, but there are individuals out there who connect with this Matrix Jesus, and it delivers. And it's almost always in someone's time of need. Like, you have to be on the ropes. Really on the ropes. But this phony Matrix Jesus will deliver when it knows the conditions are optimal. And that's how this system continues to thrive too. Because it wants it wants everything within you invested in it. And as long as you're doing that, it will deliver. And it most likely happens as a result of something traumatic. Just saying. Like so it's very real. Very real.
The Matrix knows you. It knows everything about you. And therefore, that's why it's so good at ensnaring you to come back here. It will try to offer you whatever will work. It is the best. This place, if it's like an AI, it mimics the greatest con artist ever to have existed. Okay.
Well said, man.
And it wants return customers, or customers get back in line, because we know from a lot of these astral projections. By the way, not that I want to mention his channel or give him any credit right now. Remember the guy that you reviewed at astral projected and was helping?
Oh yes, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I have not listened to some of his newer videos, but I did catch some of the titles lately. Have you seen some of the titles?
Not recently, but it seems like
talking about
he contradicts himself big time. Let's just put it
Yes,
that
but
way.
Matrix titles, Reincarnation, Soul Trap titles, Loosh Farm titles.
He probably got a lot of feedback. I mean,
maybe. I haven't listened.
Destroyed him in that one video.
I don't know what the content is because I haven't listened yet, but I thought that was interesting. I'm like, well, they laid $1 short. Thanks for helping coerce that poor bastard back there.
So terrible. Terrible. Oh,
anyway,
God, what he did to that guy.
Yeah.
As if the daughter would ever know that it was him. It's just so terrible. So messed up.
It was very terrible.
Yeah.
But a lot of his channel stuff lately, especially this okay, so there's one Galactic Federation channel thing I was listening to the other day. So it was the one that I sent you the link. I don't know if that was channeled or I guess it must have been channeled.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that one they tagged us all in it. I'm gonna do a response video on that one. There's no doubt. There's a bunch of them out there. She's one of many.
They do, a lot of them say similar things. So a lot of them give out this thing now where we've been supposedly, we were imprisoned, but now
it's shut down.
It's shut down now. Now we've been rescued. I don't feel rescued.
Trust me.
Do you feel rescued?
I feel rescued, Dan. How dare you imply that I don't feel rescued?
Well, I mean, we rescued ourselves, but we didn't.
No, I feel rescued by the light.
Oh, by the light, by the Galactic Federation.
Man, the Galactic Federation, yes.
They all because basically what I have to say about channeling is it delivers the same kind of this very clever messaging that humans respond to. We respond to it because we have a condition called cognitive dissonance
and savior programming.
Yes, savior programming and cognitive dissonance. This is why the Q stuff gets picked up by so many people, which is essentially the same as the Jesus formula.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody noticed
same
that.
Playbook.
Same playbook. The Galactic Federation formula is the same as the it's all this savior thing. And I would hate to think that I cannot get my head around this. If there were more advanced beings out there in our Matrix universe here, in the holographic universe, that they would still have governments.
Thank you. Thank you.
That would be truly depressing. That they have not figured out to just live in voluntary cooperation with the simple rule that don't initiate violence. If you initiate violence, violence can be returned to you in self-defense, and otherwise you just, everybody just cooperate.
Well said, man.
That's all. The simple natural law of things. You telling me that there's an actual federation? That means that there's a gigantic galactic government out there. What do they collect taxes? Oh my God! Please no! Please no!
What are you gonna do? Pay taxes? Oh yeah, good, great points, man. Yeah, the whole channeling thing. I've talked about it a few times on the channel, but I think in general, channeling should be completely avoided. There's something I've noticed, and again, everyone has to use their own discernment and see how they feel about it. But I found overall channeling is just infested with hucksters. Okay. Tomorrow I could, use one of my backup channels or create a new channel, and because of the knowledge that I have and that many of us have, in things like NDEs and pre-birth memories and life between lives. You can kind of package all of this stuff together and say, oh, well, I'm channeling all this information, and it's going to sound right. That's the problem with all of this. It's like, we obviously there's always going to be individuals out there that will try to take anyone for a ride for a buck. And they exist in the NDE community. I really don't say their names all that often, but there's a number of them out there. Not a lot, but there's a number that are fairly easy to spot. But it's like anything in life. There are always going to be scammers. There's always going to be hucksters out there trying to pull a fast one over all of us. And it's no different with the channeling community. And channeling, in my opinion, is even worse because even if you do have someone who's authentic and real and bringing back, for lack of a better word, valuable information, the community in and of itself has tarnished that. It's very, very easy to make things sound right in channeling because other topics that kind of launch off of the channeling topic link together, especially in the New Age community. So for me personally, I avoid channeled material. I think there's only one video I've talked about that related to a channeler. His name's Robert Schwartz. And but he was involved with a few segments in that specific video, along with some other individuals. And what's interesting about Robert Schwartz is anyone who's familiar with him, find a picture of him smiling. Find a video of him smiling. I have only found one video. I'm sorry, one picture of him smiling, and that's on his books. One of his books. I would ask any of you, it's like, find a video, find a picture of him smiling. They don't exist. And this is someone, so he's a big spiritual name out there. And what's interesting is the video that I did cover, and I'm don't quote me on this entire thing, but it went something like this. I told you this one, Dan. Okay, so he goes, this is just subconscious truth bomb coming across in everything that's holy. Okay? He says, oh, well, the homeless and AIDS patients, we look at them as losers. That's what he said. And, went on to explain how, that's how society supposedly looks at the homeless and AIDS patients.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And this is supposed to be some spiritual guru, nice guy who is just trying to help humanity. And, yeah, I mean, it was a subconscious thing that came out of him. And it's an older video, probably 2, 3, 4 years old, something like that. But
the homeless, the way I see it,
it's sad.
The homeless and people who are just anybody who has a terrible life. Anybody has a terrible life. The way that I think this system works is they got to fill in the slots, right? And they need a lot of chaos and suffering down here to make the loosh. Yep. Okay. And we know that especially naive spirits that especially have never been human before are out there, and they find Earth and they're clamoring to get in here. And you got that entry director there at the gateway. And I believe that, the way it's presented, and even in like the Tibetan Book of the Dead and other reincarnation resources from Eastern philosophies, they try to tell you if you are going to be reincarnated, you need to take your time and choose wisely, right? You've heard that before from the Eastern philosophies.
Oh yeah, yep. Well,
And I think the reason is for that is because if you don't, they will just shoot you down here to the whatever slots they need to fill in. I think the way, in looking at the totality of the information and trying to come up with an actual explanation for suffering and evil in this world, is that people souls got incarnated into really, really bad situations because they didn't fully understand what they were getting themselves into, and they get shot down here and just fill in random slots.
exactly.
And then they're in a world of trouble, and maybe next time they'll get a better life. But the actual
Carrot in the stick, right?
Yeah, the actual answer is to just exit out of here. It's just like the movie War Games. The only way to win is not to play.
Yep. Yeah.
But speaking about playing, because I have to go soon, I just wanted to talk a little bit about video games.
Sure.
You turned me on to that Cyberpunk 2077. That's a great video game, by the way. And it's getting an upgrade for PlayStation 5 soon, I think. But recently, I started off gaming in the modern era. I used to game in the 80s and 90s. Atari, you remember that? Asteroids?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But in the modern era, somebody made the mistake at Christmas to buy me a gaming console, and they gave me Call of Duty. And that was back in like 2009, 2010. So it was like it was like Modern Warfare 2 and the first Black Ops. And I got hooked on Call of Duty. It was very quick. You can do rounds in like 10 minutes or for 10, 15 minutes. It's super exciting. But the entire gaming industry today has turned into like some new level of trash. I cannot play these games anymore, and because they suck so bad. The new Call of Duty, the new Modern Warfare 2 is so horrible. It's not even playable. It's losing its player base. And to me, a lot of this stuff is done on purpose, just like the entertainment industry, the trash that they've turned our classic sci-fi into. It's really heartbreaking. But I found a game that was actually from 2015 and then a second version in 2020, which is called Rebel Galaxy. And I just wanted to tell people out there about it because I never actually knew they even made a sequel to this game. I played the first one, and when I got like irritated with Call of Duty, I would play the first one. But it is a
What
actual
system
fun
did the
game.
first one come out for?
The first one is like a 2D. It's supposed to be a space kind of open world, but it's simplified. It's not annoying. Like I actually have to learn how to fly an actual spacecraft or an airplane, or I don't have to learn all this. It's more like an arcade type game, but yet it's open world. So it's kind of like not as annoying as like, to me, like No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous, where you have this steep learning curve. It's just fun. And the newer one, which came out in 2020, I didn't know it was there until like a week ago when I was looking for something else to play. Is just like it's not stressful. It's called Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, and you can play it at your leisure. You can do simple things like do cargo runs for credits, and you don't even have to, if you don't want to even fight anybody in this game, you don't have to. You can just fly a spaceship around if you want to. Go visit the bars at the space stations that you docked. It's just fun. I just wanted to let people know about it because I didn't even know it existed. I didn't even know they made a sequel to the first Rebel Galaxy, which was a really fun game, and they made the second one even more fun. So I just wanted to let people know about that. But I cannot believe the absolute trash that some of these top level. Have you heard of some of the controversy going on with the new Modern Warfare 2, Mark?
No, but I was aware of what was going on with the whole Harry Potter thing. Sorry, I was muted there for a second.
Oh yeah, Harry Potter, supposedly a great
Let's
game.
be careful with this topic, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm just saying about Modern Warfare 2. I mean, there's a lot of gaming channel, a lot of professional gamers on YouTube that make videos about Modern Warfare 2. It has become, it's just a sweat fest. There is no fun in the game anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing it for modern. I remember playing the first Call of Duty, the first few Calls of Duties on. I think it might have been Xbox 360, and then Xbox One. I mean, great games. I mean, but I was really young too. You know?
They were. What's bizarre is supposedly, and there's been people that have suggested that this game is so bad that they think an AI made it. There's no actual human beings involved.
I would believe it. That's not even out of the realm of possibility. Because
it doesn't seem like there's any genuine thinking going on. Anyway, the newest one is so it's unfathomable. Supposedly there were 3,000 developers involved, 3 major gaming companies, 3 years of development time.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing about here's the difference. When you buy Rebel Galaxy Outlaw on the PlayStation, it's $29. When you pay for that game, there are no microtransactions. The in-game money is earned by doing things in-game, and then you can buy better ships, better stuff, equipment, etc.
That's blasphemy these days.
Yeah, it is. But yet that's a 2020 game. That's not that old. When you buy, I spent.
Yeah, but but there's no microtransactions involved. You're saying, right?
No, nothing. No, it's just
that's a good thing. That's surprising.
Yeah, you buy the game, and when you get into the game, everything's in the game. You don't have to work. You don't have to buy anything else. You can buy stuff in game for money you make in game by playing the game. In Call of Duty, I spent, you can spend $70 or $100. Actually, being a fan of the franchise, I actually spent, embarrassed to say this, I paid the $100. The game launches. The game launches on launch day. It was actually worse than the beta that I got to test. I didn't even know what it was like. It was like an unfinished alpha game. It was like in an alpha state. It was unbelievable. And even after all these months since launch, the game has only gotten worse. I mean, they've added more content, and most of it is recycled content. They haven't actually added much of anything new. What they do add new content, they want an outrageous amount of money to buy in game. Like, if you want to buy a new skin for your avatar you're playing as,
$2, like $2-3.
$25.
What?
Try that. $24, $20
for a skin.
Yeah, for a skin and a couple of skin guns and stuff.
What?
Yeah, and then I can't support this friend. I can't all of it though. It's like, it's not just that. I mean, have you seen some of the new? Look, The Mandalorian. One of the few. No, the TV show Mandalorian. Star Wars, Disney Star Wars.
Okay.
The first 2 seasons were pretty good. It was like the only saving grace for Disney Star Wars. I mean, and the Andor show is really good, but a lot of stuff they make in Star Wars is just utter trash. And then the 3rd season drops, and there's a character I really like, Katie Sackhoff. I really like her. She was Starbuck in the new Battlestar Galactica. She was in Longmire. She played deputy sheriff in that show, and she was even in that reboot attempt of Bionic Woman back in 2007. And she's a great actress, and and she plays the voice of Bo-Katan, a Mandalorian in the Clone Wars, and they finally brought her to life, and she gets to play the live version in the Mandalorian. But I personally think she should have had her own show. There's so much story there with her character, Bo-Katan, but they've inserted her into this Mandalorian show that's supposed to be about this other guy. And in the third season now, it's like it's her show, and it's like, why don't you just give her own show? I don't understand why am I watching her, which is fine. I mean, I like her character, but I don't understand what any of these companies are doing. It's like they can't even tell stories anymore. They've lost the ability to tell coherent hero stories. Gene Roddenberry's probably rolling over in his grave. What they've done to Star Trek. I just wanted to vent a little bit about this.
No, please do.
Off topic, but
no, it's cool. But I wanted to kind of throw this one out there, and anyone who's a gamer and hasn't played it yet, you have to play the game Control. Get the Ultimate Edition. It's been out for years now. You can get the. I mean, I've bought the game twice. I bought it for Xbox when I had Xbox One, and then I bought it for the computer for probably like $10. And even if it's priced at retail at $29.99, I think is the most recent price, it's worth every penny. I'm telling you, that game is just littered with truth bombs. It basically shows how there's an AI in control. Some of you may be familiar with this wacky building in New York City. I can't provide the address right now, but I know it's the old AT&T building. So if you want to search it while we're chatting tonight, check it out. Search AT&T building, New York City. And it is literally almost a replica of the same building, and it talks about how an AI is in control, and basically what happens is you go into the building trying to find your brother who you lost years ago, or suspected was murdered or something along those lines, and you end up becoming the director of basically like the CIA or FBI, and the system chooses who is going to be the director. And meanwhile, like the AI is like chirping in your ear the whole time, and the director position throughout its history has a way of being completely manipulated and subservient to the AI system. And there's inverted pyramids and astral realms and all sorts of crazy things, different items that kind of come in and out of the reality, and there's like these deeper meanings behind all of them. And I mean, it goes on and on, and I'm telling you, if you haven't had a chance to play Control and you like video games, you gotta buy it. You have to. It's a must-play game. Another one I'll throw out there. I mean, I know anyone who's probably played video games is familiar with Witcher 2. You gotta check that out. Or Witcher 3, I'm sorry. Wild Hunt. I think that's the one. Yeah, Witcher Wild Hunt. That one, it's got truth bombs in it too, but it's probably in my opinion, the best game of all time. It's an open world game. But you do get truth bombs along the way. Not every mission, but you will find them. But kind of going back to Control, it's just incredible what's out there. And kind of just to pivot about Control, I'm going to be playing it more on Twitch. So if you're interested in checking out my Twitch account, Truth in Gaming, It's Forever Conscious Research on Twitch as well, and there's a link in the About tab of the channel and the description tab if you're interested in joining. But it's very, very casual. I'm not someone. I mean, I just like to enjoy video games, and I'll do some light commentary along the way. So feel free to swing by and check that out. But if you're a gamer, buy Control. I mean, Dan, have you had a chance to play it yet?
No, but I'm going to check it out.
Oh, you have to. You have to. It's even if it's $29.99 or $30, whatever the case is, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, so I think so is that Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, simply because it's fun. The thing is that, now you mention it, truth in gaming, truth in entertainment. I think for some reason they have removed that from a lot of the newer entertainment, newer games. They've
100%.
made them empty, and I think that's why subconsciously people are no longer resonating or attracted to it. I think that's
a good point.
We deep down, even though we've been brainwashed with religions and materialism or whatever else, there's a part of us that knows the truth somewhere buried underneath all that garbage. And that's why entertainment resonates with some people, and it makes it good entertainment, good storytelling, and good gaming. And then when you remove that with some of the trash they've produced lately, it doesn't resonate with it. It's empty. It doesn't mean anything. So, want to wrap things up, Mark?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, really appreciate you coming on tonight, Dan, and thank you for spending so much time. And thank you everyone for tuning in today, and thank you to everyone watching. Just as a reminder, Dan's channel on YouTube is OverWatchChannel, and he also has a website, OverWatchProject.com. You can find his links there, as well as in the description tab of the video that you're watching tonight. And he's also available on Odyssey. And thank you, Dan, for coming on tonight. I appreciate you, my friend, and glad we were able to have a deep conversation. It's getting pretty late here, so I really appreciate you spending the time. So thank you.
Yeah, everybody take it easy out there, and remember, we got to get the heck out of here after this is over.
That's right. We'll be all right.
All right. So I'm gonna click leave twice. Then I'm gonna leave the
sounds
screen
good,
and
man.
leaving the melon thing here. All right.
Thank
All
you,
right.
man.
All right. Take it easy.
Take
See you
care,
later,
man.
Mark. Take it easy. Bye.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Really appreciate you stopping by tonight, and we found some value out of the discussion that Dan and I had. And again, if you have if you like playing video games, check out